In a lonely valley in Norway, hikers found the body of a woman, burned beyond recognition. She had no name, no papers, and no past that anyone could trace. But she had left clues. 9 fake passports, a dozen false identities, clothing with every label cut away, and a notebook filled with a secret, handwritten code. Was she a spy? A criminal? A woman running for her life? Half a century later, we still do not know her name. This is the mystery of the Isdal Woman. Welcome to Curio Hour, where we uncover the strange, the unsolved, and the unforgettable. Today's story: the Isdal Woman. The date was the 29th of November, 1970. The place was Isdalen, a steep and isolated valley near the city of Bergen, on the west coast of Norway. For centuries, Isdalen had a dark reputation. Its name translates roughly as the Ice Valley. In the past, people had died there, and locals sometimes called it the Valley of Death. On that cold Sunday, a university professor and his 2 young daughters were out hiking in the valley. As they made their way along a rocky slope, they came upon something terrible. Hidden among the stones was the body of a woman. She had been badly burned, her front charred almost beyond recognition. Around her lay a strange collection of objects. There were the remains of a packed lunch, some scattered jewelry, a broken umbrella, and the melted plastic of a bottle. Most striking of all, there was the lingering smell of gasoline. The terrified family rushed back to Bergen and alerted the police. Investigators climbed up into the valley to examine the scene, and from the very first moment, things did not add up. The position of the body, the burns, and the objects around it all suggested something deliberate. But who the woman was and how she had come to die in that lonely place, no one could say. The autopsy deepened the mystery. The woman had died from a combination of burns and poisoning. A large number of sleeping pills were found in her system. There was also a bruise on her neck, possibly from a blow or a fall. The official conclusion leaned towards suicide, but many of the investigators were not convinced. It was hard to imagine how a woman could douse herself in gasoline, set herself alight, and then lie down so neatly among the rocks. The scene felt arranged, as if someone wanted it to look like suicide. The first task was simple in theory: identify the woman. The police took her fingerprints and her description and circulated them across Norway and beyond. But no one came forward. No family reported her missing. No friend recognized her face. It was as if the woman had never existed at all. The investigators noticed something odd about the body itself. Her teeth showed signs of advanced dental work, with gold fillings and crowns of a type used in Central and Eastern Europe, not in Norway. This was the first hint that the woman was a foreigner, a traveler from somewhere far away. And it was only the beginning of the strangeness to come. The break came when the police searched the Bergen railway station. There, in the left luggage office, they found 2 suitcases that matched the woman. The suitcases were a window into a secret life, and what they contained only made the mystery far stranger and far darker. Inside were clothes, cosmetics, wigs, and money in several different currencies. The woman had been carrying cash from Norway, Germany, Switzerland, Belgium, and Britain. But the most chilling detail was this. From every single item of clothing, every label and brand tag had been carefully cut away or scratched off. Someone had gone to enormous trouble to make sure that nothing could be traced. Even a prescription tube of cream had its label scraped clean, so the pharmacy could not be identified. This was not the work of an ordinary traveler. This was the careful behavior of someone trained to leave no trace. Someone who lived in the shadows. But the investigators caught one small slip. On a pair of rubber boots inside the suitcase, a faint shopping bag survived, and inside it, a clue pointing to a shop in Stavanger in southern Norway. And in the lining of the case, they found something extraordinary. A notebook filled with columns of letters and numbers, written in a code that no one could understand. It took time, but cryptographers eventually cracked it. The code was not some elaborate cipher. It was a record of the woman's travels, written in a private shorthand. Each line marked a date and a place she had visited, hidden behind a simple code of letters. When decoded, it revealed a woman constantly on the move across Europe. Paris, Hamburg, Basel, Geneva, and many cities in between. She had crisscrossed the continent for months, never staying long in any one place. And as the police traced her path, they uncovered the most astonishing fact of all. The woman had traveled under many different names. At hotels and border crossings across Europe, she had checked in as Genevieve, as Claudia, as Alexia, as Vera, and under at least 5 other identities. 9 names in all. Each identity came with its own passport, its own nationality, and its own carefully maintained story. She would arrive in a city, stay a few days, then vanish and reappear elsewhere under a new name. Hotel staff who remembered her described an elegant, well-dressed woman who spoke several languages fluently. German, French, English, and others. But she was careful, and she revealed almost nothing about herself. Witnesses recalled that she would sometimes request a room change soon after checking in. She seemed always watchful, always cautious, as though she feared being followed. In the days before her death, she had stayed at a hotel in Bergen under the name Fenella Lorch. She paid her bill and then she disappeared, only to be found dead in the valley soon after. By now, one explanation seemed to leap out at everyone. Multiple passports, constant travel, false names, coded notebooks, clothing stripped of every label. These were the hallmarks of a spy. The year was 1970, the height of the Cold War. Europe was crawling with intelligence agents from both East and West, watching one another in a vast, secret game. And Norway was not a quiet backwater in that game. It bordered the Soviet Union in the far north, and it was a key member of the Western Alliance. Its coastline held secrets worth watching. Investigators later learned something that fueled the spy theory. In the weeks before her death, the woman had reportedly traveled to areas of Norway where the military was testing new missiles. Had she been gathering intelligence on those tests? Was she watching the Norwegian military, or perhaps being watched herself by agents of another power? Some who worked on the case came to believe she was indeed an agent, possibly working for an intelligence service in Eastern Europe or beyond. But proof was impossible to find. There were even claims that the investigation was quietly shut down faster than it should have been. Some suspected that the authorities knew more than they were willing to say in public. Whatever the truth, the case slipped away. The woman was buried in Bergen in a zinc coffin in case anyone ever came to claim her. No one ever did. For decades, the Isdal Woman lay nameless. But the mystery refused to die. Journalists, historians, and amateur detectives kept returning to it, determined to give her back her name. Then in recent years, modern science offered new hope. Investigators reopened the case, using tools that had not existed in 1970. Scientists analyzed her teeth and bones using isotope testing, which can reveal where a person grew up based on the water and food they consumed in childhood. The results suggested she had likely been born in Central Europe, possibly in or near Germany, and had moved westward at some point in her youth. It was a clue, but not a name. Investigators also recovered her handwriting, her facial reconstruction, and even a sample of her DNA, hoping that one day a living relative might be found to match it. Appeals went out across Europe. Anyone who recognized the face, the handwriting, or the story was urged to come forward. A few promising leads emerged, but none of them closed the case. And so, more than 50 years later, the Isdal woman remains unidentified. We know how she lived, in motion, in disguise, always watching over her shoulder. We know how she died in a cold and lonely valley. But we still do not know her name, where she truly came from, or who, if anyone, wanted her dead. The columns of code told us where she had been, but never who she was. She was a woman of many names and no name at all. A ghost of the Cold War who carried her secrets into the fire and left the rest of us to wonder. The Isdal woman.